Good morning.
Good morning.
We're just waiting for everybody to get settled a bit. Everybody, one more minute.
Higher.
It's good to have everybody on board. I think most of you know who I am, but just in case, I am Rhonda Pringle, Market President and Publisher of the Baltimore Business Journal. I want to welcome you this morning to our 2021 Upfront discussion. This is really an opportunity for us to showcase some of what we have in store for 2021 to support the business and nonprofit community through our content, through our events, and through our marketing tools. Like many businesses, the pandemic has, I will use the term, it has given us an opportunity to be more creative, to be more responsive than ever. And what we will do this morning is really highlight what is new and different. And we will give you an opportunity at the end. We'll leave about 15 minutes for you to ask questions. I'm going to ask that you put your questions in the chat feature, and we will get to as many of those as possible. I want to remind everybody that you are in mute. So if for some reason you find that you're accidentally unmuted, just kind of look at that so that we don't accidentally pick up sound that you may not, want us to have in your background. So we're going to go ahead and get started. We have a quick hour of time with you. And I want to start our conversation first by introducing our BBJ panel. And that is starting with our editor-in-chief, Joanna Sullivan.
Hi, good morning, everyone. Thanks for coming.
Our event director, April House.
Hello.
Our director of sales, Annie Payne.
Everybody.
And our product sales specialist, Don Lewis.
Good morning.
Hopefully all of these names are familiar to you. If not, they will certainly be familiar at the end of this as we learn more about what each one does. And I want to start the conversation with Joanna Sullivan, mainly because we get more questions about the newsroom and our approach to content than anything. And this first question, Joanna, I want to start with this because it is asked so often. There's so much confusion between me as market president and publisher and the editor role. So let's start off by, what do you do, Joanna? Tell us what it is that's the difference between your role and my role.
I guess there's a big difference. Rhonda runs the entire BBJ. So she runs sales, she runs audience development, and the newsroom overall. I run the newsroom. So I have a team of editors and reporters and designers and a research director. And we put out, every week we put out the print paper, but every day we're breaking news and putting out our newsletters. And we also work on our events, providing the content. And we also do lots of special pubs. So we're pretty busy.
Very busy. And this is our way of saying that Joanna is the best person to reach out to for news content, press releases. You can certainly reach out to me, but she is going to be more of your direct contact. The newsroom has been especially busy this year as we've dealt with, what I'm hearing other people call, which I kind of like this term, this twin-demic that we're having in the country of COVID as well as systemic racism conversations going on. And so that has kept this always busy newsroom, especially busy. We went from COVID to PPP coverage. And then certainly we wanted to spotlight small businesses, Black-owned businesses, which we just did a 2-part series on Color of Money that I hope everybody had a chance to read because it was excellent. Tell me about what your priorities are going to be going forward as we look towards 2021.
Well, this has definitely been a crazy year, 2020, but I don't think we missed a beat. We shut down in March, we went into our houses and we continued to focus on what was, news for our readers. And going forward in 2021, we see more of that focus. This pandemic hasn't gone away. So we're going to continue to cover how it affects our economy, our businesses. Our small businesses are really hurting. And also the unrest that we saw in June and, the highlighting of racial inequality in the country is a huge issue for our companies, for our readers. So we will continue to cover that through the lens of the Baltimore Business Journal. We are highlighting, and we have always, tried to focus on Black-owned businesses. Our city is 60% Black, and you'll see our coverage over the years. We've tried to do that, but we've really made more of an intentional push to make sure that we are being inclusive in all of our coverage. So we look forward to 2021.
I think 2021, not to jinx us, but I think 2021 is going to be an even bigger year for awards and recognition. Certainly we got recognized earlier this year as the best paper for business news by the Maryland, Delaware, DC Association. I expect that this year, with the work that we've been done, that it's going to even be more recognition. So I want to thank the newsroom for that. As we look at the approach, did you find that it changed even some of the lists that you were looking to do in terms of 2021 for the book list?
Yes, we took a hard look at our editorial calendar and we tried to see what worked, what didn't work, and what we thought we needed to add. So for our minority-owned business list going forward, we're going to have make sure we have content that highlights some of the Black-owned businesses. We also are going to try to, just focus more on people each week with our list. Try to show who these list makers are. We have a lot of great companies, and I think one of our roles is to really highlight them going forward.
So it's no secret that a lot of media companies saw growth and engagement. We were not an exception, but we are still very proud of the additional engagement. We had a growth in paid subscribers, and a lot of that growth, also not surprisingly, was in digital. So we did something recently from a digital perspective, which was make a change to our homepage that people will start to see now, and certainly will probably be more aware as we go into 2021 of that change. Can you share what that change is?
Sure. Well, the new homepage looks great. If you haven't been on, log on. You have always been able to kind of tailor some of your interests. Like if you're interested in commercial real estate, you could do a pull down and look at commercial real estate stories that we've done, that all of our markets, we have 44 of them across the country, have done. But now this homepage is a little smarter. It's going to figure out what you like, and it's going to tailor some of those stories to you on a daily basis. So if you have a huge interest in CRE, it's going to see that you keep on looking at that. If you love restaurant news, you're going to get to see even more of Amanda Yeager's great coverage on restaurants. So stay tuned, make sure you play around a little on the homepage. We're excited about it.
Right, because the more content you're consuming, the better, the smarter we're going to be about the kind of content you'd like to receive. So I think that's very exciting. We touched earlier on press releases. You get a lot of press releases. I get a lot of press releases. One of the questions that is always asked is, what are you looking for? Like, we sent this what we thought was this great press release, and it didn't get picked up. Can you speak a little bit about what you're looking for in a press release?
Sure. That's a great question. I get asked all the time. In fact, every day. I have an inbox that has about 1,000 emails a day. I try to go through, I try to answer almost all of them. Sometimes I miss them, and I apologize in advance. Press releases, you might think it's a great press release, and it is probably a great thing for your company. You've done something, but is it really of interest to everyone else? That's what we're looking for. We're looking for impact. We're not looking to write about your certification in a very specific industry related product, or service. That's not something all of our readers want to read. They want to read about change. I'm asked all the time, what is news? And it really depends on the day sometimes, because some days we are so busy that we're going to have to just set our priorities, which we do every morning. Like, what is the biggest thing that we could be focusing on? What is the biggest story for our readers, our business readers? And so that's decisions we make every minute. A press release comes in, and on a day when it's really slow, or if this press release, touches a nerve, like, oh, this is really timely. Like, news is change, it's timeliness, and it is, impact. So you want to send something, tell us right away, this is why this is important. Don't make us dig around. Sometimes, like, the lead, what we call the lead in the story, is buried all the way down at the bottom of the press release. And I see Glenda Lejameron here laughing at that. So she understands.
So I think there are types of press releases we typically would never pick up. For example, I know we get a lot of anniversaries, and we don't typically do that. And also maybe events that some people send, we don't typically cover. There are just certain areas we just don't touch on much at all from a newsroom.
Sure, like Rhonda touched perfectly on anniversaries. I get probably one a day. My company is celebrating 25 years. We think that's great. I think it's terrific, but so was the company yesterday. They were celebrating 50 or 100. So we don't do stories pegged to anniversaries. However, the story might have the company might have a great story to tell. You might be able to talk about, what they've hired 10 people in the last year, or they're going to hire 10 more. They've really pivoted during the pandemic. We have a special section called Coping, which is perfect. We're looking for like small business features on companies that have managed to survive or even thrive. We're seeing companies opening up in this. So I don't discount every anniversary press release. I won't do it based on the anniversary, but it might be a cool company if you have a good story to tell. And as for events, like we won't go to a gala and cover it as news. We won't go to a bookmobile thon, like we get all these things every day, but we might go to your event like online, or if there's a newsmaker like speaking, or if there's a chance to get a story. So there's a lot of opportunities, even if we dismissed your initial press release.
So I mean, the positive out of all of this is they're seeing great stories. We're always very interested. And it leads me to my last question with you, which is, there are other ways to engage with the newsroom beyond the press release. So talk to us about those other ways.
Well, get to know what we're doing, read us, and you'll, get a feel of, what we're looking for, who the reporters are covering things. We have multiple beats, say Holden Willen, our public companies reporters, our money reporter. He covers banks, law, public companies. Just take a look, and then also look throughout the print paper, tool around on our website, and you'll see that we have areas where you can be involved. We have helping out, which was out and about until the pandemic, and there were no more events that we could have, like the meet and greet photos. But we have a lot of, good works that people are doing. They're donating their time, their money, food, and we run a picture, we run a little blurb. It's a great thing for your clients or your company. We also do, like I talked about, Coping is a small business feature. The reporters are always looking for news on their beats, and we have a lot of sources that we'd love to use, and we're trying to expand our sources. We're trying to get more minority business sources in our stories. We're trying to make sure we're not going back to the same people all the time. So if you have like a new client who would love to talk about how companies are, raising money, say, hey, Morgan, you're doing a lot of stories on venture capital. Morgan and Icensee are our technology reporter. this person, you know, is a great source to talk about that. I saw that story. Maybe in the future you could use them, you know, Rolodex, you know, the old Rolodex cards. Let the reporters know, you know, who your clients are and how they can contribute to our content every day.
Thank you, Joanna. I'm sure
Thank
we might
you,
have some
Rhonda.
questions at the end. I want to now turn to events. They are our companion piece to much of our content. And this has certainly been a very interesting year for events. April, it's good to see you.
Thank you,
I want
Rhonda.
to start by talking about how different this year has been as we've gone from in-person events to virtual events. What has been sort of the biggest learning that you've taken from this, and how specifically have they been different in terms of how you put together events?
So yes, it has been an interesting year indeed, Rhonda. Event directors are now broadcast directors, video editors, tech support. So we kind of put on all the different hats. Even though we did before, it's kind of on a different scale. We now have our studio set up at the office. We have LED lighting and backdrops for you. And, you know, instead of orchestrating the event though from, you know, the floor, I'm now doing it from my desk chair, and just trying to find a good fit for our sponsors and our attendees to our events. You know, what does that look like for you? What can we do? I'm constantly reminded how much technology is as amazing as it is unpredictable. We've had some interesting situations in recording and putting on these events, but yeah, just finding that good fit. We can't always send awards out, you know, can't pick them up anymore while you're at the event. We now have to ship them out and we have to get the right addresses. So there's little details like that we have to kind of figure out. But it's definitely been a learning experience and very rewarding at the same time.
So it has been rewarding because we are actually getting a chance to speak to people in a different way. It seems to be in some ways very intimate when you're having an event and people are in their homes and you can kind of see the way that they live. Talk to me a little bit more about some of the advantages, because I know one of the challenges is you really can't replace in person in that sense of, I have a cocktail, I can come right up to you and have a conversation. But we are finding that there are ways that we're networking and connecting with our honorees. So talk a little bit more about that.
So very similar to what we're doing today. We're learning how to, you know, have breakout rooms and have everybody in the same room and kind of figure out how that can work as far as having discussions. Everybody's becoming a pro at this. So, you know, being a part of that, you know, celebration for our events is wonderful to be able to do it that way. We're, you know, we don't have to travel anymore. We don't have to get dressed up as much. Costs are down as far as doing the events virtually. That gives us the ability to lower the ticket price and to give more cost-effective sponsorship and marketing options for everybody. And then one of the most valuable takeaways from doing virtual events is our ability to offer analytics. We can do post-event shares with our sponsors and give you a shareable link that you can send to your clients. We can do the recording, we can do a highlight reel, and then that just stays on our website, and we can share that link indefinitely. And that gives you ability to leverage that sponsorship.
And I love that we're recording all of our virtual events. We did not always record our in-person events, so that does give that additional sort of lifespan to a virtual event that we didn't have before, and the ability to send that link and promote it in that way. So as we look to 2021, because everybody has asked me, when are we having in-person events again? So talk to me about what your plans are.
Oh, that question. So we're planning on keeping events virtual for now, but we're not ruling out limited person or live stream opportunities if that should become an option later on in the year.
So if COVID will work with us, we will have.
We will. Exactly. We will do what we think is safe and go from there.
So moving to virtual certainly didn't hinder creativity. And as we put together our plans, talk to me about what's different, what events you may have added or changed. Just give us some highlights.
So we've kept most of our same signature events. So those have been, you know, wonderful to be able to produce. But we've added for January, we've added a Future of Cities. This will have a national speaker, Richard Florida, and it will be moderated by our own editor-in-chief, Joanna Sullivan, from a national level. And then we will have a local component with that event as well. So definitely keep that in mind for January. And then we've added back in Future of Manufacturing for July. So that's always been a great event. There's a lot going on in that space. And then we'll be freshening up our Enterprising Women event. We are looking at adding an awards component this year, and then doing some adjustments to the list or adding a list to that. So we'll be expanding on that women's event. And then we've brought back our Best in Finance CFO Awards for October. So that's always a good one to get everybody together on.
So I want to talk a little bit about those events that we've added or changed, because I think that as we go through the calendar, I don't know that everybody kind of understands that process. And it always starts with what we did in the previous year, what worked, what didn't work, but also some of the feedback we get, right? Because you often do surveys and look at feedback from our attendees.
Yes. We kind of take that information and that feedback and what can we do, what can we add, or what can we, you know, emphasize, or what I'm really looking for is the panel and speaker suggestions from everybody. We like to kind of keep those fresh and new, and you know.
So speaking of panelists, how soon do you start to look for panelists? So we pretty much just put together the 2021 calendar, and based on those events, we go through and we decide, okay, this might have a keynote, this might have a panelist. What's been interesting that we didn't talk about with the virtual events is we found that less interested in a keynote, more interested in panelists for all of these events going forward. But when do you start to put those panelists together?
We keep a running list of panelists and speakers, and we're adding to it now. You know, we're looking for, you know, dynamic, well-spoken, C-suite, expert local knowledge, a new voice that can offer a fresh perspective to the conversation as well. You can send everything to me. So ahouse@bizjournals.com, and just let me know. You know, I'd love to have their contact information, their industry, their topic that they're knowledgeable on, and then a sample link if you have it of other things they've spoken at. So
you mentioned C-suite, and I guess this is where I wanted to jump in and just clarify, because C-suite varies by so many companies. Smaller companies certainly don't have the depth of a C-suite that larger companies have. But are you only interested in CEOs and presidents? Or tell me a little bit, is it senior VPs when you say C-suite?
Yeah, senior level, someone who's really had that experience to be able to offer that knowledge to our attendees. You know, we need to be able to give you an opportunity to learn something when you attend these BBJ events. And the business community we've got so many local, you know, executives that can, you know, C-suites that can handle that.
So as you heard from April, please send your suggestions to her. I know that we take suggestions from anybody in the organization, but April's your first contact. And this really is a great opportunity to showcase particularly new executives, because we love to hear new voices. And if you have somebody, and it's been interesting because we've heard a lot of companies who've done onboarding since the pandemic, and we would love to hear from some of those new voices, as well as some of our seasoned executive leaders. So please do not wait, go ahead and send that to us. So events, a big component of that is the awards. And that always starts with a nomination process. Talk to me about when the nominations can expect to go up for this year, and then maybe give us some tidbits, because you get to sit and listen to, you're always this independent sort of voice in the room, because you don't really vote for the awards, you just listen to the discussions. So talk to me about how attendees can better understand what you're looking for in a nomination. So both, when we're going to put nominations up, and then what makes a good nomination.
So we're looking to put nominations up next month. So everybody be ready. We'll put out a breaking news, I believe, Joanna. We usually put out something that lets everybody know that they're now up, so you can start nominating, and nominate, as soon as possible. Don't wait till the last minute. We kind of keep track of that. And the more we can read ahead of time, instead of, 500 all in, within a week's span, it's better. It's better to be able to just spend time with those nominees and see what they're all about. It requires a team of judges. We sit in the room and we kind of go over, all the different key elements that we look for, which are, tell us a little bit about the honoree's business accomplishments, any firsthand experience you have with the honoree, just really showcasing the person, who they are, and why we would want to celebrate this person. For instance, like community and volunteer efforts, what are they doing to kind of expand outside of just their job? Like, what does it mean to want to honor this person? And we don't, please note, give special preference to anyone who is nominated more than once. So
I feel like it's when you remember the old test you used to do, and they say the guessing will not hurt your score. We go, multiple nominations will not improve your chances of being selected. So one really great nomination is impactful is 20 nominations that are not quite as thorough. So
right, we get a lot of they're great. And then we're like, okay. So yeah, kind of expand on that a little bit. Give us a little bit more.
So if I had to summarize what makes a good nomination from what you're saying, is really being thoughtful about how they're contributing to their individual company, but also how they're contributing to the community. And we love data. So I want to just throw that in. We love when somebody says, you grew 20%. I mean, so anything that sort of provides some analytical proof, documentation, other than everybody loves so-and-so, they've grown the company a lot. It's better to say they grew the company 10% or 15% or whatever that is. Certainly helps us with that discussion. So
yes, and I've put the event calendar in the chat, and we will send everything out to everybody after this event today. So
thank you very much, April. We could not do our events. We certainly couldn't do the level of content that we do every day without the support of advertising. So I want to spend some time with our Director of Sales, Annie Payne, and talk a little bit about how we're supporting companies through our marketing tools. Hello, Annie.
Rhonda.
So clearly, the pandemic has had an impact on the way that your team approaches sales. And it's because businesses have certainly had to pivot in ways that have caused us to also have to pivot. So talk to our audience about some of the changes that you made in your team and the way you approach.
Yeah, so we definitely had to reevaluate our conversations and how we supported our clients and our advertisers. Our first priority is always to support our clients and help them grow their business. So we got creative, we listened to their needs, we heard what was going to be the most impactful thing during the pandemic. And in regard to events and what we're missing, I would say we heard a resounding, we miss networking, or we need networking. So what I do want to share with you is that networking is very possible. April alluded to this in her events conversation, and how her and her team have really worked hard to figure out how to host a networking aspect to a virtual event. And we know and we understand that this is so important for the growth of our businesses. So as a team, we really work hard to individually listen to our clients to hear what they need most and get creative. We're going to listen to what they prefer for a networking experience. So for example, we just hosted a very successful Fast 50 virtual event. And prior to that event, our presenting sponsor invited all the Fast 50 honorees to their sponsor-led breakout rooms. We received a lot of positive feedback and accolades for being able to continue orchestrating those key introductions into the virtual world. So it is possible. You may have seen it. You may have some tweaks or some other ideas. We're all for it. We're here to brainstorm with you. So that's been really exciting, and it has caused a lot of pivoting, if you will. As I said, our mission is to truly help our customers grow their business, and our virtual events are very pivotal for this growth during the pandemic. So we're looking forward to continuing our networking opportunities in 2021, and we will always listen to your ideas as well. So one other thing that we've been able to do is we took some time to really think through what would be relevant for our clients and our advertisers. And one of those things also in regards to events, because that would be the biggest thing that has changed in 2020, is we created a registration sponsor. So by being a registration sponsor, you are actually opening up the event to be free to the public. And some of those, that's a big branding opportunity. That can look like on all of our e-tickets and all of those emails that each individual gets, it says these tickets are provided by XYZ company. You have logo promotion throughout the event and logo inclusion on all the event promotion as well. So there's a lot of different ways that we can really hear what you need and get creative to do that. So we're here for you. We're excited for 2021, and we've got some ideas in our back pocket.
So what's one of the marketing opportunities that you're the most excited about?
Again, events. So what we're doing and what we're offering and what we've gotten really good at are custom events. We have learned that there is, in this virtual world, again, people are so hungry to connect. And one of the ways that they can do that is provide content to our audience. And that is something that we have, and again, a big round of applause to our events team for learning all the back-end issues or back-end technology tricks, but we are working really hard to create a custom events platform. So as we go into 2021, we're armed with the production knowledge that can help our clients host those events. So that can look like we can consult and offer suggestions for panelists. We will listen to your idea of a content and we can help you create the questions. We'll execute on all the back-end tasks, such as running the show, pre-recording, tech checks. We're really there to be your feet on the ground, get the job done, and create this opportunity for your vision and your dreams to become a reality.
Thank you. I know that when I speak with business leaders, sometimes they'll say to me, well, I'm in Baltimore, but I'm really focused on, I don't know, DC, or we're expanding into this different area, and I'm really not sure how I would work with your team when I'm interested in Charlotte or some other area. Talk to me about how you're supporting businesses beyond Greater Baltimore. And then part two of that is, what other ways are you supporting businesses beyond traditional advertising?
I love this question. The big surprise, we're a national company. So the good news is we are a very local organization, but our sales reps and our sales team is secretly very diverse. We know all of the products and opportunities that you can advertise in all of our local markets. So as being a part of our national company, American City Business Journals, we are well versed in our 43 local markets all over the country. From east to west, north to south, we can help you advertise in all those areas. So if you're looking to grow your branding or your content, your thought leadership into different areas, as Rhonda said, say Charlotte or Boston, even all the way to the west in San Francisco, we are happy to help. And the good news is you get to work with your current account executive or myself. We have access to ideas and successful stories that have occurred all over the country for all different industries of advertisers. And we can put those examples together and help brainstorm a nationwide campaign if you'd like. And then in regard to part two, this is also a very exciting question for me. We have recently really dove into this research product that we're offering, which is very exciting. I know that there may be some people out in our audience that really love the research, diving into the details and learning more. And so you can partner with the BBJ to create questions of your choice to be sent out in a survey format to our audience. Or again, you can add on another market. So DC might be a really good example in that case. This is a great fit for anyone that is looking to better understand their audience, their market potential, and how they perceive their brand and messaging. So at the end of this survey that we send out, you'll actually receive a comprehensive post-survey analysis and report for your own use. You can keep it, it's yours forever, you can share it. And our research team does a wonderful job putting together all of the results and presenting it to you as well. So it's a wealth of knowledge that will help you grow your company for years to come.
So, I mean, this is exciting because research is new, and I do want to emphasize it's not done locally. We do work this through our corporate office. So we don't have the expertise necessarily to do the research, but we certainly have the partnership of experts. Our researcher actually is out of New York, right? New York City.
Yes, yep, Amy's in New York.
But the good news is they work with companies of all sizes, from Fortune 100 companies to mid-size and small, to get this research done and to send it to our business audience. So I agree, it's pretty exciting, and it's not traditional in any way in terms of—
Right. I would encourage anybody to do research so I can learn more.
So as we look to 2021, I have been hearing the team talk a lot about this term pre-booking. And maybe some of our attendees have heard the phrase, but others have not. Tell me what pre-booking is and why it's important.
Pre-booking is a season for our local markets. It's really like the holiday season, if you will. It comes at the end of every year when all of a sudden 2020 is over and we're looking into 2021. Our goal is, again, our mission is to help our businesses grow. So towards the end of each year, we take some time with our clients to talk about their growth goals for the following year. So in this case, 2021. And pre-booking allows us to have that conversation, come up with a very unique plan and strategic plan that can cover Q1, or it could cover the entire year to help you reach your growth goals. And if you pre-book, which means booking before or committing before the year end for the following year. So if you commit by the end of 2020 before walking into 2021, that means you get a special deal. And that means that you get to stay within the 2020 rates. So you get to choose your products that you'd like to run in 2021, and you get them for the cost of our 2020, or the price of our 2020 rates. In every year, I can say that I watch our corporate office raise our digital rates, and different things increase because of the demand, especially in the digital world. So I strongly encourage having those conversations.
Me either. But
with your
Mas Vigilante coffee, por favor.
If we could get you to
my obsession with the local coffee shop.
Somebody is not on mute. If you could just mute yourself, please.
I do love coffee. We've got my coffee cup right here. But yeah, so pre-booking is very important to get ahead of the game, get a plan, and then be able to keep the rates that you're comfortable with for the current year. It's also extremely important because we have products that run out. We lose inventory. They are premium products. So premium placement in our newspaper, being next to the list that you want to be a part of. Premium placement in our book of lists every year is a big deal. And then, of course, our digital products, such as we have limited inventory for our dedicated e-blasts, newsletters, and sponsorships like 8 Things to Know and Breaking News. And Breaking News is a great sponsorship this year because, as Joanna mentioned, our editorial team is breaking a lot of news, and we don't see that to slow down in 2021.
There's really this kind of a first come, first serve. So you just take advantage of what's out there, beat your competition to it. So that's important for us.
Yes.
So what I hear a lot of is, small businesses in particular, it's really difficult to make a commitment. And what advice do you have for those companies?
Yeah, so I would say start strong and focus on a quarterly campaign. The branding and advertising requires some consistency to get good feedback on how your ads and your content is being received by our audience. So I always suggest a quarterly campaign. And it's important to have that consistency and to become recognizable. And doing this by quarter really allows us to gather a good amount of that data that we need to analyze your results and then consult you and your organization on what worked really well. And then we can implement what has been working. And then we also know sort of what direction to go in to grow on that campaign to get you more results. So start strong, have faith.
Thank you, Annie. And starting strong is where I think we all want to be, especially as we come back around from 2020. So I want to bring on board, last but not least, for sure, Don Lewis, our product sales specialist, because you have one of the most fun parts of the sales, because most of what you're dealing with is helping companies celebrate themselves. And you're also sort of a piggyback onto what Joanna spoke about earlier about press releases, because there are certain press releases that we do and don't do, but the ones that maybe we don't take advantage of in the newsroom, you can help with. So talk to us about first what exactly product sales is, what it entails.
Sure. Product sales is like Rhonda said, it's a fun thing to do. Like, it's all celebratory. So for example, we have People on the Move, which is very popular. And that's where you'll see promotions, board appointments, new hires. We have the new product, which we're going to touch on, called Biz Spotlight, which is in regard to press releases. We also have a product called Office Pass, which is like a shared subscription for larger companies. There's, for those of you that are really into the Book of Lists on our list, which we all should be, we have a product called Book of Lists Unlimited. And what that does is allow you to see the continuous updates to the lists and leads data. It's fantastic product to use. Also, we have other celebration products such as reprints, plaques. One of the things I'm really excited about is we have some promotional products, but also we have vinyl event banners that we can create for you. So for example, we were talking about Fast 50. You can get a Fast 50 banner with your logo on it and your ranking. How great would that be to have behind you when you're doing, virtual events?
Donna, I always think that your role is really a good companion role with a lot of PR companies. Mm-hmm. Because some of what we get sent to the newsroom in terms of new hires or people coming on board, as well as announcements about, I don't know, somebody won top lawyers, that sort of thing. Those sort of are the kinds of announcements that you support. So talk to me a little bit more about how you support those with Biz Spotlight, for example.
Sure. Yeah, Biz Spotlight used to be called Companies on the Move, and people thought that meant, companies are literally moving. So they changed the title to Biz Spotlight. And what that is, that's your guaranteed press release. So that allows you the opportunity to write an article with 5,000 characters. It also includes a logo, a headshot, or a company shot, and it links to all your social, links to your website. It's a fantastic product. It appears online and also is online forever, and is also in the paper. I forgot to mention that about People on the Move appears on the paper and online as well. So when your articles are online, like I said, they're there forever. So you could do a search and it'll pull up. And some people are even getting plaques of their Biz Spotlights or their People on the Move, which is really cool. Like the best thing for Biz Spotlight would be, events. I had a law firm that had like 40 lawyers, won a bunch of distinctions, that type of thing. Retirement, those type of articles. So those are the things that you would want to forward to me for your guaranteed press release.
So just piggyback on that. So if somebody has an anniversary,
exactly,
I want to use the press release. And exactly. I think it's important to make that distinction, because it doesn't mean you can't send press releases to the newsroom. Right. I think the difference is that, as Joanna pointed out, we're getting thousands of press releases. Depending on those press releases, we may not be able to respond to it. So if you have something that you really just feel, this retirement announcement just has to get out there, or this anniversary, it's 50 years, and I really want to make sure to guarantee it gets out there, that's when they should approach you. Is that
Exactly. Yeah, and the Biz Spotlight includes a nice, like a smaller ad in the paper, and it refers to the online link. So you've got a couple different branding opportunities for pretty effective price.
So talk to me a little bit more about the events. Again, it's always fun when you get to reach out to somebody and say, congratulations, you're an honoree. And obviously with our events, it's not a pay to play. So you can come to an event, you're always going to get a free ticket. When we have an in-person event, you're always going to be able to come on stage, get your award, and it doesn't cost you anything. I think that people do get confused though between, okay, well, what is Dawn calling me about? So tell me a little bit about, it's sort of, I guess, to enhance the branding on that award. So talk to me about the kind of options you talk to people about.
Yeah, basically, you're going to work with your ad team or your ad rep first to see if you have opportunities to do any of the sponsorships that Annie had mentioned earlier. And what I would do is offer you enhancements to that type of sponsorship. So we have a logo button you can purchase, and you can use that on all your social media, your website. You can add that on. We also have something called a press kit, which allows for copyrighted e-prints. And again, it's a whole package deal. And then, you can also add on a plaque. So those are the things I would be contacting you about after typically the salespeople have reached out to you. So we all work together.
So I just wanted to get that out there because I know that there can be a lot of confusion. But really what we found is you can take that win, and that is really a great way for your company to extend your brand promotion. So we're always going to have, again, come for free, get your award. We typically do write-ups on and many of our honorees that, we're happy to really give that exposure to a company. But this is sort of just that brand lift that you can do, and typically at a much smaller investment level.
Exactly. Yeah, the press kit is the most effective package to purchase. It includes a copyright e-print, which you can do whatever you want with it. Once you get it printed, put in marketing materials, put it on your website. It includes a logo button, and then it also includes a share link. If those aren't appropriate or you want to do something different, I can always work on the package and make it, specialize it for the client.
You just mentioned something that I completely forgot about, which is this share link. Talk to us about what a share link is, because people ask all the time, or they even get frustrated, and they say, there's this great article and I want to share it, and it's blocked and everybody can't see it. So talk to me about how the options to get this.
That's actually one of our easier products for me to get to someone, which I really like to sell. It's quick and easy. You'll get it right away. But what it is it opens up the link for non-subscribers. So what we do is we just process the order. I send you a link, and you can open it up and share it with your team on social media or whatever works for you. And I can get that usually within 24 hours to a client. People do get frustrated. They're like, I don't understand, why I can't open this. And we do have subscribers, and, we just need to make sure they get their news. But when you open the share link, it's exactly that. You're sharing the link with everybody.
So I always kind of describe it as it's almost like giving you access to having a copyright. So if you're a photo and a photo has royalty fees, you can just put that photo on your site if somebody else owns it. You would have to pay for that photo.
Right.
So the way that we operate is subscribers will always have access to 100% of our content. And if you want non-subscribers to access it, you're basically paying a fee for that copyright. So you can share it with whomever you want to.
Exactly.
Right. So we have just a few minutes before this hour has flown by. And so I have some time to answer some questions. And if we have some, if Ashley, you want to read any questions we might have had, I am happy to, we'll open up the panel to answer anything.
Right, Rhonda, I actually have a question from Sean for the BBJ team. I believe it'll be Dawn. As a traditional in-person event benefit, how will the BBJ's Insider program change or be used in 2021? In 2020, there was some experimentation with an event in June, but nothing afterwards. Would love to see if this program is being expanded or phased out.
Right now, everything's up in the air. Just we're trying to figure out what to do and what will work for the Insiders Club. But as of right now, you still get your discounts for events. We're still going to do some in-person networking events. You still get some of those other discounts and incentives. But for right now, we're just trying to see what's going to happen in 2021. So just be patient with us while we try and figure out what to do.
And I think one of the pieces that Sean kind of referred to is there were some virtual events going on. Are you still planning to do virtual networking with the insiders, or is that also something that's up in the air?
We're hoping to get more attendees for that. It hasn't been as successful as the one that Sean attended. So the one that Sean was at, we had a lot of people engaged and a lot of people signed up for it. We haven't had as many lately. I'm not sure if it's because people are getting Zoom tired or event tired, virtual tired. I'm not quite sure. That is something we do have to visit. I don't want to do something and not have it be successful.
So Sean, I guess the answer to that is we're going to keep tweaking it and make sure that it's something that our insiders are getting a really great benefit from. For those people who don't know what Insider Club is, because I feel like we're talking in a secret
Right.
in some way. Insider Club is our own affinity group. We've had it for years where we have our subscribers come together, and in the days of in-person meetings, we would meet once a month just for networking. So it was really just a great opportunity to allow our insiders to go to some new place. Typically, we went to a new restaurant opening or a new hotel or just an interesting spot and just had some great cocktails. And that has certainly been hard to replicate during this time, but we're open to ideas for sure.
Exactly. Yes. Sean, send me some emails. Give me some ideas.
Any other questions from our audience in the few minutes we have? All right, so if there is nothing else, we truly appreciate you joining us this morning. We hope that you have a better sense of what we have planned, and certainly that you have an understanding of what each role is and how you can engage with us from a content perspective, from a marketing perspective. If you've heard something of interest, especially in terms of the sponsorships or the panelists, please, again, send those ideas to April House. Her email is ahouse@bizjournals.com. We are putting that panel together now. I wanted to sort of remind everybody of some of the events that April mentioned that are coming back. CFO, typically we would not have a panel for that this year. This next year we will have a panel for that, as well as our future of manufacturing, which I'm excited about because we haven't had a manufacturing event in a while, and our future of cities. So take a look at the event calendar, which you will be receiving after this event is over, so that you can look at that 2021 calendar in more detail and get back to us. Again, thank you for your time and your support, and we look forward to a very successful 2021 along with you. Enjoy the rest of your morning.